So, I'm Olivia Cohen. I'm the Director of Early Stage and Engagement Services here at Caring Kind. Please write down 3 words that come to mind when you think of someone living with mild cognitive impairment, Alzheimer's disease, or another dementia. And you can go ahead and write those words down. 3 words that come to mind when you think of someone living with mild cognitive impairment, Alzheimer's disease, or another dementia. And write those words on the cards in front of you. So once you're done with that, you can put those cards away. Just tuck them aside for now. We'll come back to them later. All right, it's now my pleasure to introduce Michael Pollock, a previous cast member of To Whom I May Concern. Michael, come up here. We can give a hand for Michael.
Hello, I'm Michael Pollock, and I was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease several years ago. And now I'm honored to join you today to introduce this group of brave individuals, knowing we all will leave today with a new knowledge and understanding. Last April, I was sitting in one of these exact chairs, sharing my own stories in a To Whom I May Concern performance. When I first decided to do this program at Caring Kind, I must admit, why am I here? Isn't there something better I could be doing with my time? But over the course of my group's 10 weekly meetings, I learned the valuable, incredible sharing of my experience with other people, discussing similar problems, and hearing how we are all navigating our cognitive experiencing, our changes. It's such a powerful, moving experience for each and all of us. And doing this in partnership with our facilitators, it's life-changing for us and our families. What you need to understand and what you're about to hear are real-life experience of the people sitting here before you. These are their words. These are our words woven into this creative production. These individuals have shared their stories and worked together with their facilitators, Olivia and Rochelle, over the past few months to create this script you're about to hear. I personally can attest there's nothing better you can be doing with your time today. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to Gary, Amy, and Jim. Now listen to their true tales, ladies and gentlemen, to whom I may concern.
8 o'clock, swim butterfly and freestyle.
Morning readings.
Work at 9.
Take meds, 10 o'clock.
Take a nap.
Where are my keys?
Group, 11 o'clock.
Check meds.
Where's my wallet?
Write in my journal.
Gym at 5 p.m.
To whom I may concern group, 1 o'clock.
Whoa. Sometimes I think my life has been reduced to calendars and post-it notes. What was life like before post-its were invented? Those little yellow scraps of paper, they're like my memory these days. They hold important dates, numbers, and appointments. As long as I don't lose them, I'm okay. My memory isn't so good. I really become self-conscious about it. Actually, I'm embarrassed. I wonder if people understand what's been happening to me. I try not to let anyone know, but that takes a lot of energy, and I need my energy. If I could just get across to them, my family, my friends, the people I live with, the people who try to help, if I could just let them know what it's like to be like me these days. Maybe if I wrote a letter, an open, gentle letter to all those who care about me, here goes. To whom I may concern. I know you think I've made a mistake. You think I meant to write to whom it may concern, but it's not a mistake. This letter is not about an it, a nameless, faceless object. This letter is about an I, and that is me. I'm writing to let you know what it's like to be me these days. This is not just any letter to some unknown person or persons, a form letter that complains or advises, and don't worry, this isn't going to be one of those general holiday letters either that people send to brag about their above average children on hyperactive schedules. No one brags about the way my life has changed. Actually, most people don't even let others know about it. We keep quiet about this. You see, I've been diagnosed with a dementia. Sounds bad, right? Actually, it's a terrible word to lose one's mind. But you can see I haven't lost my mind. I have some problems, yes, but I'm still managing one day at a time. I want to share what it's like to live with this terrible disease, yet it is a terrible disease, but that doesn't mean that my life is terrible. I want so much for you to understand that because I think it would make you more comfortable when we're together. I can't always find my words when I'm with you in person. Actually, that's a part of the problem. Sometimes my mind goes blank, and by the time I find the words, you already moved on to the next topic. I'm hoping the letter will be a better way to share my thoughts with you. A letter allows me to find the words without losing your attention, so here goes. Let me start at the beginning, which takes me back to the first days of memory tests and CAT scans. Those were scary times. I've spoken to many others who have gone through the same thing, and for all of us, getting a diagnosis was the beginning of a whole new chapter in our lives.
Dear Diagnosis, I've gotten a different name for you multiple times. Perhaps Lewy body disease, maybe Alzheimer's. Right now, you are saying your cognitive decline. Have all the others been wrong? It's been a long, hard process for me. I have waited countless months, had many misdiagnoses, and still have appointments in 2026. It is very difficult to talk about these misses I've had with you, what my life was like before, and what it's like today, waiting for new results to constantly come. So I'm going to make this short and make this real. I don't really need you or your name. I know who you are through the forgetfulness I've had, scams I have fallen for in the past, and stiffness I experience on a day-to-day basis. But I also know who I am aside from you. I am happy, I am a people's person, I have a 17-year-old poodle named Evie, I've been sober for over 20 years, and I like to fish in Long Beach. I am Amy no matter what.
Your new chapter. I've had more than a few plot twists in my life. Stuttering, cancer, a car crash, neuropathy, and now memory problems. Each time something happened, I told myself, I'm okay. But then the test came back and reality steps in. 7 years ago, I first heard the words that started this new journey, mild cognitive impairment. Even now, part of me still wants to say that I'm fine. My own personal diagnosis has always been, I'm okay, I feel confident. But then there were those moments. Where are my keys? Where's my wallet? I retrace every step, and still no wallet. Losing things seems like a small thing, but it makes life harder to manage. So now I try to put everything in a designated place, hoping I can stay one step ahead. What I know is this: no matter what condition you have, there's still life, we still matter. I've had close calls before, I'm still here. I'm planning to keep going as long as I can. The man upstairs has a plan, and I'm doing my best to walk through it. This diagnosis, this chapter is real. It's not something I can shrug off. I've studied psychology and know that denial and grief come with the territory. But I also know that it's just another chapter. And in every chapter so far, I've kept moving. So here I am, stepping into this new chapter, uncertain at times, but still me, still trying, still showing up, and still keeping on.
Dear neurologist, I thought I was fine. The cognitive test told me I was fine. 30 questions, draw a clock, always a score above 26. But passing those tests didn't mean everything was okay. Something was wrong. I knew it. I had words in my head I wanted to say, but I couldn't speak them out loud. What should I have taken 30 seconds? Felt like 30 years. It did not feel right. I needed more information. My wife and I decided to seek multiple opinions. One of you, the doctor I saw, couldn't wait to get me started on Leqembi. Yes, the treatments could slow progress if I had the disease, and that excited me. But it also felt like you had your own agenda, like I was a data point on your database, not a person trying to understand what was happening. Then there was a next neurologist. You said, if you score below 26, we'll begin the treatment. Clear, direct, and collaborative. I liked it. I felt part of the plan. Eventually, I received the diagnosis, mild cognitive impairment, and I began Leqembi. But I can't help wondering, would things have been different if the first doctor had seen me as a person and not a number? If I had spoken up sooner, even then, I kept passing the tests. Could I have begun Leqembi earlier, prevented some of the decline, if only the path had been clearer?
To whom I may concern, yes, the diagnosis and evaluation are difficult times that don't go away. The confusing and painful Alzheimer's or FTD or whatever you have turn your life upside down. One day you're feeling at the top of your game and then it's gone. And the days leading up to the diagnosis and a long time afterward, you're pretty much in shock. You want answers, but at the same time, you really don't want to know. And for many people, in the end, they only get a vague diagnosis.
Could it be mild cognitive impairment?
Can't be completely sure it's Alzheimer's,
Might be depression or ADD.
etc., etc., etc. It feels like a crapshoot. They give you a handful of pills, a new appointment in 6 months. 6 months? My life has just gone out the window and they say, see you in 6 months. What do I do now?
We adapt. Actually, some of us adapt old school strategies to make them work for us now, or use new technology. Everyone finds a way to cope. I've heard some amazing stories from people who are going through the same thing as I am, and many of them are on the stage now with me.
Dear home, since the diagnosis, I've had to ask myself, who do I depend on? What systems are in place? I have a lot of people in my life, but also very few. I am single, live alone, my sisters live far away, so a lot of time, it's just you and me. You are set up how I need you, so we really make a great team. You house the 2 notebooks that I write from daily. They help me with to-do lists, reflections, and making notes on what I want to say. When I need to keep busy or fill the day, you have my dog ready, my crafts prepared, and provide the books I like to read on end. Yet, there is still work to be done. Just the other day, I found myself in the kitchen totally afraid. It felt like my brain zapped, and I lost all memory for a second. Here I was feeling like I was in remission, having all those tools and skills in place, but in that moment, I felt so displaced. I slowed down. My body was telling me I needed a break. I was glad to be with you. You provided me with the environment to relax and reset. You're a place where I can have healthy conversations with myself, navigating solutions to the problems I face, giving me confidence that you, my home, are my safe space.
Dear next mile, at different points in my life, I've had to face things I never expected. was a stutterer and had groups to help with that. I had prostate cancer in early 2001 and went to a support group. I've lived in a blended family and learned how to be a step-parent, going to group to support that. Eventually my wife, also a social worker, and I led a step-parent group to help others. I also have neuropathy, and I had to learn to drive with my hands, another obstacle, another adjustment. And each time I found a way forward. Through all of this, one thing has stayed the same. I keep on trucking. So I'm going to keep it going. I'm still working. I'd rather I know how to take the route I know, no sweat behind it. I've been working nearly 60 years at the same agency, and not many people can make that claim. People think you can't do certain things, but you do them anyway. There's meaning in that, for them and for me. I'm trying to work as long as I am able. Keeping goals in mind helps me stay focused and steady. And through all these moments, groups have mattered. Speech groups, cancer groups, step-parent groups, every one of them helped me cope, adapt, and keep going. We learned from other people, and we passed the word along. What a tangled web we weave, Charlotte. Even in a tangled web, there is always somebody we depend on. Caring Kind is that for me now. A place where I'm not alone, a place where every week I feel a little renewed. As I adapt to mild cognitive impairment, this group gives me strength, reminds me that connection matters, that support matters, and that I can face this the same way I faced everything else, by adjusting, learning, and keeping on.
Dear Prostate, August of 2024, I had 4 weeks of radiation to treat your cancer. Well, not exactly you. It was called the prostate bed because you left a while ago. That upset me. You know, we were together 70 years. Never a bad word between us. You always did your job. And then, next thing you know, you're ripped out of me. I didn't even get to say goodbye. I'm hopeful it is different with your pal, the brain. It's been 3 years since I was diagnosed with mild cognitive impairment. So in August, I found myself getting Leqembi treatments while also at the doctor's office getting radiation for you. They are 2 very different journeys. The doctor wanted me to stop the Leqembi. However, that gave me some anxiety. What if the brain decided to slow faster? I already wish I had started the treatment sooner. I asked my doctor if I could continue the Leqembi fusions during the cancer treatment. He said it was okay with caution. So please, excuse me if I am prioritizing the brain. You, my prostate, left long ago, and I am trying to keep my brain going.
To whom it may concern. So, we're doing our best to adapt, to continue living our lives, but the ground under our feet is shifting. Those early days are difficult, not knowing, suspecting. For some people, the awareness came quickly because they already had a family member with cognitive loss, a mother, a father, a sister. Hard to fool yourself when you've already lived through it with a loved one, a friend. Even if you know what Alzheimer's, FTD, Lewy body, cognitive loss is about, living day to day is a real challenge. Forgetting, that's a big part of it. Thoughts coming a bit slower, words missing, your mind going blank. Somebody summed it up in one little phrase.
Just
give
give
me
me
a
a
minute.
To my sisters, after my accident, falling down the stairs and having my right leg not working like it used to, I always knew I would need help. You were there. Then came the journey with my memory. You came to me first before I knew it myself. People knew something was wrong, and you were able to substantiate what my challenges had become. I thought I was dealing with more physical challenges than mental challenges, but you called me and said, something seems different, let's check it out. You provided examples that I did not remember, and you were right, you were there. I know I haven't changed a lot in your life. One of you lives in Colorado, while the other one of you lives in Paris. I am happy and where I should be, because I know when I need you, you are there. I sometimes ask if you want to talk about anything, and you reply, no, everything's okay. I'm sure you both talk on your own, but sometimes I would like to know what those conversations are like. But I like to keep things very simple, at bay, non-confrontational. There have been difficult conversations, but they are conversations we have had to have. At the end of the day, you are there for me in every aspect of my life.
Dear yin to my yang. I know I can be a bit of a dinosaur when it comes to technology. My fingers are too big for the phone. I'm not always the most orderly person, and yes, I can be stubborn. You, on the other hand, you notice things I don't. You help me schedule appointments. You figure out the computer for me. You remind me of things I might forget. I see it, I feel it, and I appreciate you more than I can say. I also want you to know something. I want to keep my independence. I don't want to rely on you for everything. I want to still contribute, still be a part of the decisions, still be me. I'm learning little ways to help myself, like using Alexa or setting alarms. It's not perfect, but it's my way of keeping on. I know this asks things of you, too. Sometimes it feels like a heavy responsibility, and sometimes we argue. Heated arguments, yin and yang, right? But underneath it all, there's us, the relationship, and that's what matters. I hope we can find ways to adapt together. I need your help, and I hope you can adjust your plans too, so that my independence and your care can exist side by side. Ways that let me stay engaged, but also let you feel supported and not overburdened. I'm trying to be helpful to you on issues that concern you that don't involve me. I'm not denying I have this condition, but in doing the things I need to do, I keep on. I hope we can keep on together, learning, adjusting, and moving forward as a team. Thank you for noticing, for helping, for being there, for walking this path with me.
Dear Daryl, you were the first person to see me start to fade 3 years ago. I thought everything was normal. I have always been a bit disorganized. This was nothing new. It was just our type A and type B personalities clashing again. But I knew better than to argue with you. So, of course, you were right. You go above and beyond, even while having your own health concerns. And these experiences have helped how we approach this journey when researching for the best professionals and practices. You are so organized, and that has also helped us keep things together. There have been arguments and heated conversations over the years, and we've had to make, but I know it is because you care. You care, you truly care. You are helping me be a better person, Daryl. Here is to you and all that you do for me. Thank you.
To whom I may concern, the words and the memories come slower or not at all. This disease has a way of silencing you. The plaques and the tangles in my brain are doing their job, whatever that is. But we're not the only ones who are changing. Dementia has a way of changing the people around us too. We have friends and loved ones, and even healthcare professionals who treat us very differently when they learn that we have cognitive changes. This can bring out the best in people and sometimes sadly the worst. I've heard stories that really warm my heart and those that make you cry.
Dear caring, kind friends, We live many different lives in one lifetime, and I'm happy to live this life with you. I really enjoy meeting people who are similar to me. We have a different story, a different diagnosis, but our feelings are often the same. When this group started, I did not notice I was the only woman in the group and the only single person also. We shared so many experiences. This is where the program takes us. Regardless of the situation, I have you, my friends, who understand. I also have friends who I call civilians because they are a part of my life. I share my diagnosis and journey with them, but they don't have memory problems. I am comfortable telling them about what is going on, but I know it is hard for them to relate. I am very different than a lot of people in my life, and they don't always know how to support. It does not mean that they are not my friend. It does not mean that they do not love me. It just means I know to seek support from those experiencing the same thing. It's been a long process for me to get to this stage, and I am continuing my education. But this active sharing and learning comes from you all. I am always here if you want to talk as well.
Dear Lifeline, it's not like I'm calling everyone up and saying, hey, John, I have Alzheimer's. But it's important those closest to me know about my diagnosis. My wife knows my diagnosis, my children know, and I know it's important to socialize. I've been trying to make more friends and making acquaintances where I live. Just by doing simple things like asking, hey, how are you doing? It's good to stay in touch with people, old friends, new friends. I've been going from wanting to stay in touch with them to knowing it is good to stay in touch with them. I've taken a clinical approach to it all. Knowing socializing with others is important. It's a lifeline because these connections matter. They remind me that life is shared, that every conversation, every small moment is meaningful. Talking to others matters. It helps me stay connected, keep my mind active, and reminds me that I am more than my diagnosis.
To my son, I was scared to tell you what was happening. Seeing all that you have done in life, you make me proud. I think back to coaching baseball, swimming, watching your music performances, just witnessing all of these experiences. I felt like a good dad being a part of it all. I didn't want to let you down or have you view me differently by telling you. After about 6 months of your mother pressing me to tell you, I said okay, and got the courage to have the conversation. You responded, you're okay to me, like you always have. Now, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but ultimately, you were so understanding. Your response gave me the confidence to open up and not shy away from telling people. I talk to people in the elevators, on the street, in groups, in hell. People tell me to please shut up now. Yes, I have lost contact with some friends, some people, along the way, and it hurts me. I think that they are uncomfortable with the conversation. What matters is that I am comfortable sharing with people. Our conversations with each other are a pivotal moment and I thank you for that, Eddie.
Kindness can ease the pain of an embarrassing situation. Humor helps too. When I told a friend recently that I had this memory problem, he came back with a quick joke. Don't you want me $20? Friends can be great.
I'd like to think we have a built-in get out of jail free card. Our memory loss can help us out of sticky situations.
Only if we remember to use it.
Well, in this group, you're in good company.
I couldn't agree more. Now, let's get back to the letters. To whom it I may concern. Some doors open, others close, but through it all, we hold on to hope.
A letter to myself. While I was born a people person and have so much love to give, when it comes to us and whatever this future holds, I am glad it is me, myself, and I. I'm not on this road alone by any means. I have people in my life who I love, but I am not married to them. I feel lucky I don't have to worry about someone else or stress about those additional difficult conversations. Maybe I don't want to deal with it because it feels like I'm already dealing with everything else. Looking to the future is so scary because it happens so quietly. Before you know it, you're in that moment, and next thing you know, you can't remember the past. But we are doing the best we can. I have help, I attend programs, I have therapy twice a week. That all keeps my mind stimulated. I am very active in my future, but can only handle the present. Maybe I stay in my lane too much, but at the end of the day, it's just about me and you. If this is how I will preserve myself, that will be what I continue to do.
Dear path ahead. It's not over till it's over. I look at my own life, 82 years old, and I think about my mother who had no access to antibiotics 74 years ago and died at age 36. And yet here I am. We keep going because the people before us kept going. We build on them, we don't stand alone. There's research being done every day, work that could help people like me and the people who will come after me. And yet somehow there are cuts to funding this work, cutting the very things that move us forward. Unfortunately, our country is experiencing challenging times. Sometimes I think the folks making those decisions need their brains examined. Lately, I've also been thinking about my own work and my agency, opening new group homes for adults with developmental disabilities, and how that process connects to the work we've been doing with whom we may concern. Sharing with the public, hoping to educate, hoping minds will change, hoping people will come along. That matters. That's part of moving forward too. And when it comes to my own life, I know I can look at this diagnosis in two ways. I can go through the grieving process feeling sorry for myself, or can I reframe it as a challenge. I'm choosing the challenge. I'm not going down without a fight. My kids are doing a 5K race soon. I'm hoping to do that race too. That's what the future is to me. Not giving up on what I can still do. Reaching towards something, believing that there is always more life ahead, more steps to take, because it's not over until it's over. And I'm still walking.
Dear tomorrow, I go to bed every night thinking about what you will bring. So, what are some of the things I would like? Well, I would love a cure, but I know that's not possible, at least not now. However, I can keep my swimming every morning. I could research what I can do to improve my health. Maybe try a Mediterranean diet. Exercise, meditate, yoga. Well, not the yoga. I tried that and got all twisted up for a couple days. Well, my brain, it's still working, and sometimes better than it was before. It is keeping the information that is hard to store. Well, it'd be nice if you'd share. I feel a sense of failure, but I am not someone who does not give up. So when I am feeling down, I think back to one of my favorite mantras. If I don't try, I fail. If I do try, I haven't failed. I repeat that every day. It gets me up in the morning and knowing I still have things left to conquer and that I can keep trying. The sun goes up tomorrow, and I see you tomorrow.
To whom I may concern, what more can I tell you? Let me just end by going back to the eye of your concern. You can see from our stories that we are ordinary people try and make the most of a difficult situation. We don't want to disappear. We're doing all the things the experts say we should be doing. We exercise our minds and our bodies. We keep up with the research. We take our pills. We also try to forget. I know that may sound funny since forgetting is at the heart of our problem. But we try to forget about our illness so that we can reclaim and embrace our lives. Give us a little relief or respite. We do not want this to define us. We are more than our memory. And on that note, let me end this letter. Enough about me. How are you these days? Let's get together soon. And thanks for listening and for your concern. Fondly, Jim.
Hopefully, Amy.
Affectionately, Gary.
My daughter was here, Jamie, and she was the one who got me into my prostate cancer group, right? And that was very helpful at the time, right? Still to this day.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. Can we give them another hand? So I'm going to ask you guys to find that card that I asked you to write on, those 3 words. And once you have it, I'm going to ask you to flip it over to the other side. I'm going to ask again. Please write down 3 words that come to mind when you think about someone living with mild cognitive impairment, Alzheimer's disease, or another dementia. So you're writing 3 words again on the opposite side. And I'll repeat it. 3 words that come to mind when you think of someone living with Alzheimer's, mild cognitive impairment, or another dementia. And so while you're writing those words, I'm going to take a moment just to introduce our other co-facilitator and writer. She'll stand up, Rochelle Matarazzo. And so what we're going to do now is I'd like to invite you to join us in a talk-back discussion today. We have a microphone in the back with Alyssa.
Hello.
And we're going to ask some questions to folks. So is anyone, if you're still writing, that's okay, because I'm going to keep talking. But is there anyone willing to share some of your before and after words? And if you are, just raise your hand and we'll come over with the microphone. Yes. Thank you. Breaking the ice for us.
It could be me, was my original, and I cheated. I have 4 for my response.
Okay, we'll allow it.
They are fully alive.
Love that. It could be me, and after.
You asked the participants.
Yes.
Could be fully alive. They are. No,
They
they
are
are
fully
fully
alive.
alive.
Thank you for sharing that. Would anyone else like to share your words? Yes.
Hello. So for the 3 before, I felt you were requesting 3 words, not a phrase.
Yeah, that's
So
fine.
mine were, if it were me, fear, embarrassment, and fear again.
Fear, embarrassment, and fear.
Again, yeah.
Yeah.
And then for the second request, the person that I know that I'm living with Alzheimer's is my mom. And looking back on her, I would say, I wish she was like you guys, but it was unawareness, impatience, and denial. Nothing like these 3 rock stars.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that, yeah. Would anyone else like to share your words before and afterwards? Right behind you.
My first 3 words, loss, sadness, and frustration,
Loss, sadness, and frustration.
are the way that I feel most evenings. After this performance, courage, challenge, discipline, fearless.
Courage, challenge, discipline,
Fearless.
fearless. Yeah, thank you. We'll do one more. Anyone want to share their words?
My first 3 words, I really thought about how my husband probably felt, and it was tough, brave, and frustrating.
Tough, brave, and frustrated.
Yes, and now hearing the very talented performers, I think it's hopeful and resilient and self-aware.
Hopeful, resilient, and self-aware. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing your words with us. I'm going to open the floor up to some other questions as well. What did anyone write anything different, and what did you notice from some of the words that you've already heard? Yes?
Struggle, opportunity, and hope.
Struggle, opportunity, and hope. Yeah, thank you. Anyone notice anything about their words? Sam?
For me, that's for the challenge, the hope and love.
Challenge, hope, and love. Great. That's great. Did I see another hand there?
I was just going to say the words, it seems like there's a pattern, which is the words before are sort of like mine, which are pretty dark in some respects, and the words afterwards are actually, I wrote also the word alive, and it seems to be the consensus that I think everybody drew a kind of positiveness that was missing from the first set of 3 words.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for saying that. Yeah, that's great seeing the differences between. Chris, I saw your hand go up.
Yeah. I think this kind of, the way this thing starts, it keeps going, is for me, but this should be the first day in a first group, you know, and not starting I don't know, doing all these things, how many, if any, things they're doing, what or where, I don't know.
Yeah. So how the beginning of the performance starts with all these things that they're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't really do with anything in terms of, why are we doing that when we can't, you know. I want to say, I don't know how I'm gonna get home after that.
Right. How can you do all those things? Am I even going to get home after I do all those things? And thank you for bringing that up. That's actually a very important part of this script, is to highlight all the things that folks have to remember. And so what we do with each of our groups is we make sure that that's really tailored to each group. And so everybody, you know, even just yesterday we were tweaking the script a little bit so Gary could have in, he remembered, he's like, oh, I swim every day and I do butterfly and freestyle, and that's really important. And Jim bringing up, you know, I don't really have times of things that I need to remember, but it's more so, where are my keys, where's my wallet? And so highlighting that experience in the script, and Amy bringing in some of the aspects of her self-care in her important things in her days. So all of that is kind of important parts of the script. Was there anything that surprised anyone from seeing the performance? Calling people's names.
That they were all marvelous, you know, while they were reading, you know, you did a great job. It was just, you did this beautiful job. Everyone was, you made us laugh, you made us cry, you know, you really took us through your journey, and I just feel very fortunate to have the chance to hear you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else that surprised anybody?
It was so nice that you just keep listening. You couldn't stop. It's like a movie, you know, right? So like he's talk, she's talk, then he's talk, you know, over not over each other. Like how you call it? Making it the three of you guys is like one talking, not just three, you know.
Yeah, I saw a couple things, I think, back there, the gentleman in the red.
I just appreciate so much the sense of self-awareness and analysis of your own thoughts and the generosity to share that to the others. You know, many people have shame and you know they're trying to hide, but there's a sense of victory over your own, you know, limitations that you conquer by sharing it to the others, and that I'm very, very grateful for that.
The power of sharing, yeah. I think we have a lady in burgundy and the gentleman right next.
Yes, it's not so much, I have a sense of the self-confidence that people are bringing to the table, and the wry sense of humor, which is so much appreciated.
We love a sense of humor.
Yeah, it made me feel more optimistic about the future.
That's great, yeah. Yes?
And I just love the honesty because for my mom, she's 90 now in later stages, just all along there was this cover up, there's unawareness, and so to see the three of you, you know, making it work and getting over it and going on is so hopeful and it's beautiful.
Yeah. The vulnerability and the honesty of this group is very moving.
I would just tweak a little bit and say, I don't know that we get over it, but accept it maybe and try to, you know, not have it overcome you. That's the determination. That's something we have in common.
And if I can say, it's like people like yourself who come, who support us, who say things that I can relate to. You make me feel better. You know, I don't know your name, the woman in the room makes me feel better, you know. And, you know, everybody, you know, makes me feel better.
I believe you said dementia changes us, but it also changes those around us.
Yeah.
And I think that was one of the things that rang very true to me, and something that I think all of those of us who are not currently experiencing these cognitive changes have to remember that what you want us to be fully alive in your aliveness, I think.
Yeah, thank you for saying that. I think, Gary.
Yeah, I would just say when, I forget who, I think it was the gentleman back there, talked about how, oh, my wife's laughing, thank God. I think you're the one that said that it was all woven together, everybody's part. That was because of this person and that person, because they did everything to keep us, to bring us together. I mean, we were very much connected to each other, I agree that. We feel very comfortable with each other, but they really were the glue that put the whole thing together. And they did a lot of work, more than I did. I didn't want to say that.
I think this is the we can't do any of this without you.
Wow.
And I think it's a perfect time actually. If anybody has any questions for our folks up here, we're already opening the floor for that dialogue, so please feel free, raise your hand, and we'll come around with the microphone.
Yeah. We're not shy.
Definitely not.
Ask us anything.
Not in this group. Right up front.
This was so moving. Thank you so much for being so courageous and sharing with us all. If there's one thing you could each ask for us, you know, how would you like us to show up in your lives? What would be most helpful?
Listening.
Yeah, I mean, what we're hoping is part of the presentation, and I talked about being a parallel to talking to people, and like NIMBY, you don't want, mentally retarded people living next to you, quote unquote. Not in my backyard, NIMBY, right? So there's a parallel in my mind in terms of what we're talking about. It can be anybody here, or somebody in your family, or a friend, a spouse of a friend, whoever. So it's more an educational process and increasing an awareness, about what it is, and it's not, my words, a death sentence, and my stepmom really, she was one such, person who, was a part of my life, and then as my dad died, she herself had dementia, right, and to the point that she didn't know me, right, and she'd been my mom for 50 years, right, so, that makes it real to me, and life goes on.
Yeah, I think what came up a lot, if I can share, Jim, and it was in your script, there were a lot of parallels in terms of your experience with your clinical work of working with adults with developmental disabilities and bringing group homes out into the community and helping to change minds, and that correlation between, it could be anybody, regardless of diagnosis, to have awareness and to have empathy and understanding for anybody. And so that came up a lot, and we incorporated that in the
Definitely
script. Yeah.
part of the hopeful message going out.
Yeah, absolutely. And more questions for our folks up
I
here.
just have a weird little memory that I think is relevant. When I was a kid, my grandma moved from London to live with us. And she used to get up every morning, come down the stairs, and she'd be halfway down the stairs and she'd say, "My old gran used to say, cold outside today?" "No, not cold." And we would finish it off every time. My brother and I would go, "No, not cold." And we'd turn it into a joke, and then she'd hit us, and I'd be like, "Okay." And then start a conversation with her about where she was at. And we didn't have any expertise. We didn't ever turn to a therapist or guidance. But there was something about sharing that was really important, about joining with her on that journey. I don't know.
I love
whether
it.
it's relevant, it's just that it keep coming in my brain while we're sitting.
Yeah, it sounds like what's resonating is the idea of stories and joining people wherever their story is and sharing in that story. And so whether it's, up here on stage or connecting with people in a story, with your grandmother sharing a story and joining her in that conversation, that it helps connect people.
Right.
It felt right. Yeah, I love that. And anything else for our folks up here? Oh, we got two hands up at the same time.
We'll start in the back.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Susie, and I'm a support group leader at Caring Kind, as well as I can identify with what you've been saying. I not only work with people with Alzheimer's and their families, but I've dealt with it. My mom, my partner, and friends of mine now have it. And we're dealing with it. And I also, if any of you are interested in singing, as well as you are acting, please speak to me, because I sing with the Unforgettables, which some of you may know. Oh, thank you. And I've been singing with them since over 15 years. My mom and I were the first people to join after she was in mid-stage. And I was on my way with the labor chorus to Cuba to sing with them, and she wanted to come. And I said, "Okay, Mom, but you have got to be on the bus with us every day." And I meant it. If she wanted to come, I would have taken her. She did not want to be on the bus every day, and she promised she would stay in the hotel room. And I said, "Nope, I am not leaving you in the middle of Havana in the hotel. You have a choice. Come with us, or I will find a group when I come back." and I did through NYU. And so please, anyone, we're doing a concert December 12th. If anyone's interested, St. Michael's Church, I'll give you the details.
Thanks for the plug, I love that, but also thanks for the plug for music. And I think that's Sam up here.
It's so important.
Music is so important,
It is so
creativity is so important, and this creative process was
Yes.
very important. Sam.
No, I just wanted to say a special thanks to my wife and all the caregiver. I think whatever we have now that talking about Alzheimer patient, it changed our life and their life. So I just want to say thank you all for you guys and all the caregivers.
Thank you. Yeah. Lady in the gray sweater.
I have a question for the three of you. Olivia asked us, was there anything that surprised us? And I'm curious, was there anything about this experience that surprised you? Not necessarily today, but participating kind of in the whole group and the whole experience. When you signed up, did you think you were gonna be here at the end, you know, doing this at this level?
Was that for everybody?
Yeah, or
Okay.
any, or all of
Well,
you, yeah.
You know, I didn't know what to expect. I've been in other groups and they haven't been warm people. You know, I would contact people in other groups that I was in, and I would say, how about if we get together? And this one guy said to me, well, what would you get out of this? I said, maybe a new friend. Hung up. Really, he did. It was a riot. I mean, you have to look at things in life that could upset you, and don't let them upset you. You know? So yeah, I've been surprised, but I was really surprised by these two wonderful people because they were very warm to each of us. They were very encouraging, particularly me, who misses words a lot, and like I said, it's out there somewhere, and just come back to me. So yeah, I was very happy to be in this group, and I'd sort of like to stick with people like this on an ongoing basis. They'll run out of people for me to meet soon.
You're stuck with us, Gary. Exactly. We have plenty. Amy, you were gonna say something?
I think for me, you putting it into words is a very, very difficult process every Tuesday, every week, to almost come out of trying to have another life, stepping into this life, being emotionally very vulnerable, and then trying to go back to the other life. It's been a real growth process for me. It's bettered me. It helps me it's taught me to take better care of myself because of how sad I can feel for others and myself and my family. It's difficult, but I'm so lucky. You know, I'm lucky to be here with all of you.
And so, I mean, I'm thinking, you're asking to a certain degree, you know, how is this particular experience meeting in front of people, and that, so I'm maybe a little more used to that because of the work I've done and all, talk to the public, if you will, right? But everything is unique too, you know, and so this is the first venture into this particular, format and this condition, if you will, right? But it's always kind of a good thing. I mean, just a little sidebar about the work I do. So, like I said, there's NIMBY, and nobody wants a group home. But one of the most rewarding things was some of those very same people would come back to me and say, you guys are taking care of the property, there's no problem. If there was an issue, you responded to it. And that meant a lot. And I've even had some people like that come to subsequent community board meetings and speak on behalf of us, right? So those are some of the things, this is another chapter, but each is unique, right? And this is very much appreciated.
Yeah, and it sounds like also having that experience of being on the other side of changing minds. You've had
Yeah,
some
yeah.
experience with that. Sure, one more. Sure, you want to? I got it.
Do you have any words of wisdom, any advice to folks who haven't quite been able to get to where you're sitting in terms of the shift in your mindset of acceptance or bracing? And I think a lot of people would like to be where you're sitting in terms of getting there, but might feel a little stuck.
Any advice?
I like when someone said before, to meet people where they're at. I remember when my mom had Alzheimer's, I would watch cartoons with her, and I was meeting her where she was at. And I distinctly have the picture in my head about that particular day together. I would redo it in a heartbeat if I could step out of this right now and go right back to her, where my father would lie in his bed and she was on her side of the bed. I'd go back there and stay there.
Gary, Jim, I think you were gonna say
Yeah, I
something.
was gonna say that, similar conversation that, I remember watching John Wayne movies. That was the, heartthrob of my mom, my stepmom, right? And although, like I said, she maybe not have known me, there was some, chemistry coming behind it. Just like we talk about music and songs, and that's a third part by itself. People, they may not remember things, but put a song out there, and it instills, like, memories comes back to you, right? So music therapy is definitely another venue, right? And the thing is it's trying to keep your mind collectively open to things. Nobody has the answers, and we, like I made reference in the script, if you will, you build on others, right? What come before, right? And hopefully you can benefit from that and add to it. And nobody is an island by themselves, and it's just something I've come to believe very strongly.
Thank you, Jim.
I was a single parent for about 5 years with 3 children, right? And working. Right? God bless me because I had a job half a mile away from the office I was in. Fortuitous. Luck is part of the deal too. That you can't count on luck, but sometimes it gets into the mix. And just like sometimes the bad luck comes in, you can't control that either.
You've had all the many chapters in your life.
Yeah.
Gary.
We all have.
We all have, right? Gary.
Well, I would say that if you have someone in your life who is, I'm not saying you, but someone who's got it, it's very hard to want to admit. It's like asking somebody who shouldn't be driving a car anymore after 40 years. I got a ticket. So there's got to be that person. And the only reason I'm here today, and I've been in this for how many years now? Two? She pushed me to get out there and do these things. And it was not easy because you might think I'm funny and easy, but I'm really
Yeah. We can edit that.
I don't want to say it again, but anyhow, I wouldn't have been able to do any of this. I was frightened. I didn't want to think what was I was looking towards, but my wife kept me going inch by inch until I finally came in here. And now I'm having a great time here. But the people who are the caretakers are not having as good a time as I am. So I'm very grateful to my wife. I'd never be here without her.
Thank you, Gary. Yeah, let's give a hand for participation. And thank you all for asking questions. I'm going to invite Rochelle to share some final thoughts.
Yes. First, let's just give it one more round of applause
It's on.
Keep clapping. Okay, good. It's on. So, also today's program wouldn't have been a success without many of the staff staff chipping in. So thank you, Alex, for the camera, for Dominic in the back. The reason you can hear everyone is because of lovely mics that he put together, and several other staff members helping at the front. So again, thank you all. You'll see them mingling around in the front. If you have any questions, want to talk to anybody, they'll be out there. You'll see them around. So, also, as most of you know, Caring Kind is a non-for-profit organization. Our programs for like this, for To Whom It May Concern, is made possible through generous support of both doing fundraising events and things. So, we also have events such as like our walk, which happens in October. So this, I know it's a long ways away, but still keep your eyes out for updates for all these types of events where you can come, participate, be part of the Caring Kind community. For more information, you can always please visit our website. Again, meet with the Caring Kind navigator. They'll be walking around, we'll be outside. So let us know. And Olivia, back to you.
So a couple more things. If you are, well, we also want to thank this To Whom I May Concern program was made possible through generous support of Isai and Lily, and through their support we've been able to expand a number of our early stage programs. So thank you very much. I want to ask everyone to please join me in a final round of applause for our participants today. We have Michael from our previous group. We have Jim, our narrator. Amy, keep it going. And Gary. Good job, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us, and have a good evening and to a million tomorrows. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.